You know, it's crazy. No matter where I look, I see this word thrown out there. Love. Love. I love this. I love that. I love a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I love Chick-fil-A. He's preaching. I love her. I love it. I love this. I love that. I love water because it keeps me alive. I love things. So I have a question for you. I got a few questions. Y'all cool with answering? I'm going to need a little bit of feedback. Y'all good with that? Say, yeah. So first question. How many of you would say you love pizza? Say, yeah. Man, that's pretty good. Most of y'all love pizza. How many would you say love Chick-fil-A? I want to hear Jason really loud. I figured so. How many of you would say you love dogs? Dogs. Yes. I love my little dog. She's a year old now. She's wild and she pees on things and tears stuff up. But I love her. I do. How many of you would say you love cats? No, don't answer that. We know that's impossible. That's impossible. If you're a cat lover, that's not possible. That's not a real thing. You can't love cats. Cats are evil. But here's the deal, guys. Here's the deal. There's a pattern with this word, love. Say it again. Love. Love. Yeah, you're never going to look at that word again now. Love. We tend to love things that make us feel good. We tend to define love with what we get from people. Love is satisfying. Love makes me feel good. Love is overwhelming. Love is like a flood. You're soaking me with the waterfalls. Our culture seeks to define love as a feeling, not as a verb. Webster's actual dictionary for love, if you look this up, it says this: an intense feeling of deep affection. An intense feeling of deep affection. That means that the food you love makes you feel good. I can agree on that. You know, the buffet line is a real thing, and it makes me feel good. I regret it, but it makes me feel good. Chick-fil-A's juicy chicken sandwich. I'm about to preach Jason's love on those guys. Makes me feel good. Barbecue. How many love barbecue in here? Come on, if you haven't had Jason's barbecue, you're missing out. That will change your life, get you saved. But it makes me feel good. I love barbecue. That also means your favorite Starbucks drink. What's your favorite Starbucks drink? Let me hear it. Man, y'all drink Starbucks. Okay, that's impressive. I'm addicted to Starbucks. I love my mochas, my lattes, my iced coffee, my cold brew coffee. That's an adult thing, probably. But Starbucks makes you feel good. That means the favorite movie. What's your favorite movie? Yell it out. Yell it out. I don't have favorite movies. What is wrong with you guys? Space Jam. All right. Your favorite movie that you love and adore, it makes you feel good. Man, I feel good after watching that movie. It also means that your boyfriend and girlfriend, your best friends, they make you feel good because you love them, right? You love these things. Our culture also wants you to believe that love is a fantasy. Our TV shows, movies, and books always carry love interest. You cannot watch a TV show, read a book, have a movie without a love interest. They disguise love with lust. Our culture says that when you're attracted to somebody, that makes you love them. You don't even know the person, but when they walk into the room, by golly, you were swept off your feet. The light was shining. You were like, man, hello. Would you like me to take you on a date? I can show you around the town. You see this person and you're, oh, wow. I'm in love with that person. And you don't even know the person. Because love seems to be instant, is what culture tells you, and relies on your feelings towards someone. Love is easy, and there is one person who is meant to sweep you off your feet. That's what the fairy tales they do. Oh, Prince Charming's going to come and pick you up on his horse and carry you to the castle. And the love lives happily ever after. You know that's what culture's telling you, right?
Unless you're fat.
And then, the final point, our culture has created a world where dating has lost its purpose. Our culture has created where dating has lost its purpose. If you find someone attractive, date them. If you feel lonely, just go date someone. If you need love, date around for it. Eventually you'll find it. If you need attention, find someone to date. Our culture has created this sense that dating is meant to help you find love. But there's a purpose with all this. There's a fine line between what's right and wrong in love and dating. As Christians, we have standards in our love and dating life. We can't keep living our lives blind to what God wants to do in our life. Y'all with me? So I'm going to go through 3 different parts of love and dating that I want to share with you and kind of tell you what God's Word says about dating, because culture's going to lie and say love and dating is just a temporary thing. You go and mess around, maybe you'll find love, maybe you won't, maybe you'll be single forever. But here's the deal. There's a purpose with love and dating. And I think the main ingredient that culture forgets is one word. It's an easy word because statistics have proven it. It's not Jesus, but it is Jesus. It's commitment. We have a lack of commitment. When things get tough, well, just move on. When I'm dating this person, they become boring, well, I'll just move on to somebody else. Eventually, I'll find love. So the first point tonight, if you're taking notes, love, it's more than just a feeling. Love, it's more than just a feeling. You know what the main body part that we associate love is? Our hearts. Why do we associate love with our hearts? Valentine's Day, you get people hearts. Hershey's has kisses and hearts and all this different stuff because heart's supposed to represent love. When we see a heart, we're like, oh, I love it. Or we say, I less than 3 you, or I heart you. Why do we associate love with our hearts? Because, look at this verse in Jeremiah 17:19. This is what it says. It says, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately sick. Who can understand it? And then Proverbs 3:5 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. When our only form of love is based on feelings, it will always come short. Let me say that again. When our only form of love is based on our feelings, based on our heart, it will always fall short. There's a reason for this. We always end up heartbroken when something goes wrong. Oh, that broke my heart. You're not going to believe what my boyfriend did. What'd he do? He called his sister at 10 o'clock at night.
What?
Hold up, rewind. You're mad at your boyfriend because he called his sister at 10 p.m. Yeah, he was talking to another girl. It's his sister. We get heartbroken. When we rely solely on our feelings for love, we lose the purpose of love. Feelings are a result of love, not the creation of it. Your feelings don't create love. Love is a choice. You have to choose to love someone. Love doesn't just happen. It's not like somebody's in this little pot throwing these ingredients, a little bit of this, a little bit of spice, and everything nice, and boom, there's love. It doesn't happen that way. Real life love is a choice. Ask anybody who's married in here. There's days when you look at your spouse and say, I'm choosing to love you today. That's never me. My wife is wonderful. She's sick tonight. If you miss Miss Lexi, she is sick tonight. But I always love her. But sometimes it's hard for her to love me because I'm a guy. And us guys, we're different people. We're different. We do some weird things, and our wives have to choose to love us today. Why in the world did you not put your dirty clothes in the dirty clothes hamper? It's right there. Oh, I don't know. And so my wife sometimes has to choose to love me, but love is a choice. We have to realize that love is a choice. You know, if you look at 1 Corinthians, most of you could probably quote that scripture on the back of your hand. What does 1 Corinthians 13 say?
Love is patient.
Love is kind.
Love is kind. It's not envy.
You've heard that verse before? Love is patient, love is kind, love is this, love is that. What's cool about this verse, it shows that love uses action. It says love is. Is implies action. What does that mean? That means love is a verb. That means it requires you to do something. Love doesn't just go, you can't just stand here and say, love me.
Okay.
Do you love me?
Yes.
But if I invest some time in it, and I'm saying, hey, you're awesome, man. I'm so glad you're here tonight. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad we have this friendship. I'm glad I can talk to you. Eventually, you're going to go, man, I love that guy. That guy's cool. But it took me taking an effort, but it also takes you taking an effort. So love is a choice. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy. It requires a choice. It requires an action. God's word puts action in love and tells you not to rely on your emotions. Emotions change, but true love shouldn't. Because here's the reality, folks. One day you're dating, and something's going to happen, and you're going to be mad at the person you're dating. And you know what you're going to do? Your first word, I'm breaking up with them. I'm going to break up with them. Because they weren't the perfect one for me. I'm breaking up with them. And so 12 boyfriends later, I broke up with all of them. And then you decide, oh, I have found the one. You are the one. Oh my goodness, I am so in love with you. Oh, we're going to get married. And so you get married. You're married now. Woo, what's up? I'm married. But your dating life has said when everything gets rough, when everything has a mistake, love is affected. There's no love when there's a mistake. Your dating life reflected that. As soon as you're in marriage and this perfect Romeo that you married eventually messes up. Where you been, honey? I went to Taco Bell. We are on a diet. Why are you at Taco Bell? It was there, the big blue bell. The bell was just calling my name, and I pulled in there, and Taco Bell's good. And you look at your perfect husband, your perfect spouse, and you're like, man, you lied to me. You lied to me. I guess you're not the one. And so that that lie, there's no love there anymore. Eventually, it's usually bigger things that go into Taco Bell without telling your spouse. I'm not going to talk about the bigger issues because last week we nailed all those. But this little lie forms in your heart and saying, listen, he doesn't love me anymore. I don't know if I can love him. He lied to me. He lied to me. And so this image in your head, this thing that you've been conditioned to do is to run away, to give up. Because the love is not there anymore. So what do? The relationship gets a little frigid. And you get divorced. Because that person just wasn't good enough. So our point number 2 is, who was created for me? It's a question. Who was created for me? It's a question we all ask. And so I'm going to go to this first verse. It says, to the unmarried and the widows, I say that it is good for them to remain single as I am. But if they cannot exercise self-control, they should marry. For it is better to marry than burn with a passion. The reason I'm reading that kind of verse right there is to kind of give you a context of where we're going with who was created for me. See, God's original plan with Adam and Eve was a perfect spouse, the perfect match. Can you imagine what Adam and Eve looked like? They had to be the most gorgeous people. Yeah, think about that. Because they weren't born into sin. Sin's caused us to go downhill and lose gain weight and all this stuff and everything like that, cause our appearances to age. They never aged. They were perfect. So Adam and Eve were the perfect couple, the perfect married couple. But then sin entered the world. And that means humans fell to corruption. And corruption has torn apart God's perfect plan. Now we have to discern what is right and wrong based on his words. So let me tell you, I gave you that backstory because of this. This is going to hurt some of your feelings, because you've probably been lied to. There is not one perfect person for you. God did not create somebody for you to marry. That may be hard to hear. God did not create a perfect someone for you to marry. Culture says, oh, there's the perfect someone out there. Some church people say there's the perfect someone that God created for you. But let me tell you, that's a lie. That contradicts God's word. Because when sin came in, it destroyed the possibility of a perfect match. Because nobody can be perfect. That means one day your future spouse, the Romeo that tore you apart, you had all this compatibility, they're going to mess up. Because they are a sinner, they are somebody who has flaws. Every single one of you have flaws that you'll have to deal with. But the thing is, there is compatibility. You can be compatible with somebody, but that doesn't mean they're the perfect person for you. Let me say that again. You can be compatible, have all the same interests with this person. They may be the same person that you want to love and take with you forever, but they're not the right person for you. You know why? They're not a Christian. You are. Oh, that kind of hurts, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Dating is you're meant to have the same values. You're meant to have the same purpose in life. You're meant to have the same goals in life. The biggest divergent that causes divorce is because one person's a Christian, got saved, and the other person never wanted anything to do with it. But I'm so in love with this person, I'm going to get them saved. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Dating doesn't work that way. You're never going to save somebody based on a romantic relationship. People get saved by God impacting their life. You know, maybe they get saved when you're married. Or maybe you were both unsaved, got married, and then one of you become a Christian. That's a whole different topic. But I'm talking about right now. Your dating life has to be set up. You have to have goals. You have to have these expectations already for yourself because you've already chosen a different life. When you accepted Christ in your heart, you've already chosen a different life. So if you set yourself up for failure, there's nothing we can do to help you. You could choose to love somebody compatible that has the same morals as you. Love is choosing to be with someone despite their imperfections. Love is a choice, not a fairy tale. Here's the deal. We have to have boundaries, and we have to have an understanding and standards in our own personal life. And so our last point tonight is dating from a Jesus perspective. This might rock some of your worlds. I know we have some couples in here. I understand that. But I'm going to go through some principles. These are not scientific fact. You can disregard everything I say if you want to. But these are biblical backing truths that Jesus expects from you and hopes for you. Not to destroy you, but to help protect you, to protect yourself. Because at the end of the day, all I'm worried about as a youth pastor is you as an individual, not you as a couple. I'm worried about each of you as individuals. And so I want to teach you things that help you as an individual, that reflects into your relationships, reflects into your friendships. Y'all cool with that? So here we go. First off, if you want to date with a Jesus perspective, you got to ask yourself these key questions. Does he or she love Jesus? It's a pretty easy question, right? Can you look at that person that you're interested in, you're maybe already dating, or you want to date this person, you're in the talking stage? That's one question you got to ask them. Hey, do you love Jesus? And if their response is, no, red flag. Wave the red flag. You got to ask that question. Do you love Jesus? Because if that person don't love Jesus, you're already on a destructive path. You're already going two opposite directions. The whole point of dating is to be in the same direction for the same goal, to have the same vision for your life. But if you ask that question and it's a different answer, you're already on a different path. You know what's that going to do? It's going to separate you. It's going to separate you. You may have all these things in common, but it's just going to continually separate you because there's going to be that elephant in the room. Hey, you want to go to church with me? No, that's not my thing. Okay, cool. Next question. This is usually when you're in the dating relationship. You're already living out your dating life. You're having fun. You know, you're like, woo! This is a question that you need to reflect. This is for you. This is for you personally. This is not for the relationship. These are for you. You got to ask yourself, do they bring you closer or further away from Christ? Does the person you're dating bring you closer to Christ, or is it bringing you away from Christ? If they're bringing you closer to Christ, they're probably a really cool person. They're probably really great. If they encourage you, give you some Bible verses, talk to you about Jesus, that's a good dating relationship. Because I'm not going to say dating is bad. I didn't date. I chose not to date. But I told y'all this Sunday night. My brother and sister, my brother-in-law and sister, they dated from junior high, got married, and now they have 3 kids, 30 years old. So I'm not saying dating is bad. It's realistic. But the statistics say dating in high school is usually the person you're not going to marry. It's like 10%, maybe less. The odds of the person you date in high school you're going to marry. Because you're still trying to figure yourself out. So here's the next step in dating from a Jesus perspective, is setting boundaries. First off, you got to have personal boundaries. How much of yourself will you give away? You got to ask yourself that. How much am I willing to give away to somebody that's not my husband? How much of my personal life am I willing to share with this person? What is your intentions in dating? You have to ask yourself that. You don't got to ask the person that yet. If you haven't asked yourself, you got, what are my intentions for dating? Are you dating just to date? Are you dating with a purpose? Because I'm telling you, when you start dating with a purpose, it'll change the way you date. You know, for me, my mindset was, I'm going to date the person I want to marry. I'm not going to fool around and date somebody I don't even like, or I can't spend the rest of my life with. I feel like that's a setup for failure. You can try it, you can do it, you can have fun with it, but I'm telling you, if you don't have a purpose for your dating life, what's the point? What's the point? What's the direction you're going? But if you have a dating purpose of like, I hope one day I'm going to marry this person. I sincerely believe that this is somebody I could marry. Then you're on the right path. 3, you got to ask yourself this. Are you mature enough to handle the things that come in a relationship? That's a legit question you have to ask yourself. Am I mature enough to handle a relationship? If you're still learning about yourself, still learning about your interests, still learning what works for you, you don't need to jump in a relationship because it's going to shake everything up. Everything that you've been working hard on yourself, getting with your relationship with God, getting your relationship with your friends, if they're all shaky, and then you add a shaky relationship with it, you're going to eventually self-destruct. You have to be mature enough for a dating relationship because you have to have dating boundaries. This is the second part. You have personal boundaries, but you also have to have dating boundaries. Because as we talked about last week, it'll lead you down a path that you can't get away from. It'll lead you down the path that will scar your life forever. Remember the soda? Some of you won't drink Dr. Pepper anymore because of that. But that will stick with you forever. But you have to have dating boundaries. 1, curfew. Your parents, most of you probably already have curfew. Your parents are pretty good about enforcing that. But here's the deal. Being out late is one thing. I know your parents force you, but texting late is a totally different thing. Yeah, I went there. Texting late, 1 a.m., you're texting your boyfriend and girlfriend, and you go, man, what do you want to talk about? I want to talk about you. You open yourself up for stuff. The reality is we can text. We can send pictures with our phones. We can talk about whatever we want to talk about and nobody will ever know. That's the reality of the culture we live in. But I'm telling you, you need to set a boundary. You need to have a curfew with your phone. At a certain point, you need to say, listen, I need sleep. Because if your school is suffering because of your relationship, it's not healthy. If your friendships are suffering because of your relationship, it's not healthy. If you're losing sleep because of a relationship, that's not healthy. You got to take care of yourself before you're ever going to take care of somebody else. 2, public places. This one's a personal preference. You can take it as you please. But 9 out of 10 times, you get out of a public place, you get alone at the lake, Just you and your boyfriend in the car. And I can leave it at that. You can fill in the blanks. But you have set yourself up for that. You ain't going to do nothing at Whataburger. You ain't going to do nothing at Walmart.
There's some weird people.
There is some weird people, I know. There is some, I'll give you that. There is some weird people. But you ain't going to do nothing while you're at the mall hanging out. But as soon as you take away the accountability, as soon as you take it away from other people, that's when the devil will open the door and you'll go too far with stuff you never wanted to go too far with. Let's keep going. How far is too far? We kind of talked about this last week. Physically, if it ignites the feeling inside of you, you've already gone too far. If it ignites the feeling inside of you, ooh, that felt good, you've already gone too far. So you need to set a boundary at, okay, I know right here. If holding hands gives you that feeling, it's a little too far. I know that sounds crazy, but there's some people that holding hands is that's this thing. If holding hands and putting somebody's arm around you, all this stuff triggers something in you, it's already too far. You need to set a boundary right there. Also, if your parents or youth pastor were in the room, would you be doing it? That's a real question. If your parents were in the room, and it's just you and your boyfriend, and your parents are sitting right here behind you, would you do it? That's a boundary you can ask yourself. What do I feel comfortable with doing in front of my parents? Putting my arm around them? Okay. I did that in front of my mom. That's okay. That is okay. But as soon as you would feel uncomfortable if your mama was sitting right here, you better get your hands off that young lady, son. As soon as you feel uncomfortable with your parents there, it's gone too far. And then, how far is too far emotionally? Don't give your heart away. I've already said that once. Trust can easily be broken. Don't share your private secrets. If you share everything, every single part of your life with somebody that you're just dating, and y'all break up, that person knows all this stuff about you. That's how rumors get started. Trust can easily be broken. Save some of that stuff for your husband, for your future spouse, for your future wife. Save some of that deep personal stuff. Hey, listen, I'm dealing with this. You tell your boyfriend that, they're going to be like, oh, God, this guy will go crazy. I don't know what she just told me. Or opposite, a guy opens up, the girl's definitely freaking out. Guys don't open up. Even when we're married, we don't open up. It's hard. But as soon as a guy shares something before they're even married, they're going to be like, oh, are you real? Bro, are you real? But you got to guard yourself emotionally. Don't let your spiritual guard down and share too much too early with somebody you're dating, because you're not guaranteed to marry them until the ring is on the finger, you're holding hands at the aisle, and the preacher says, I do. You're not married until the preacher says, no, he doesn't say I do. He said, you may kiss your bride. But until you say I do and you kiss your bride, you're not married. When you're engaged, you're not married. No matter how much the enemy will tell you, listen, you're going to get married. You're going to get married. You can have a little fun. You're still not married. By law, there's no such thing as engaged. There's no such thing as a dating. When you fill out any form, you know what it says? Single, married, divorce. I said by law. By law, you are either single, married, or divorced. There's no in between. Finally, be wise. Don't put yourself in situations that compromise yourself. Trust your friends and your family's opinions on someone. I'm going to say that one again, everybody listening. Trust your friends, your family's opinion on someone. If everybody you love and trust says something about that person you're dating, they're probably right. They're not blind, they're not stupid. If everybody's saying, listen, dude, that girl you don't even know, or that guy, he is a player, man. Especially your parents. If they say something about that person and you don't have their approval, you're going against your parents. I'm going to leave it at that. Pray about your dating life. I said it. It's okay to pray about the people you date. God cares about who you date because he cares about you as the individual. He wants to protect you. He's the best person to discern this situation. And finally, ask God if your relationship is healthy.